God, folks. This is Truth Speaker. We just this is in connection with what's going on in the political world, uh, on the Democratic as well as the Republican and Independent side of things, and Black America. And I would just like to say that as we see that our economy, and I'm not just saying, we owe $19.1 trillion, and that's not when you add in SSI and Medicare and Medicaid. America owes actually about $60 trillion. Even the leading economists of all different ethnic backgrounds all over America, that is impossible. It will never be able to pay that. So what they're telling people is that the economy it has got to fall. But this is not about that right now. This is called Black America. Slow, agonizing death. And it has been said by the worst enemy of African American, it isn't the cops per se, but another African American. I mean, this is pretty disgraceful. I mean, these are statistics that are coming from different black media outlets in prestigious black universities, as well as the United States Bureau of Justice. It says that 93% of all blacks killed were killed by other black Americans. That is horrific. That is, and I said to myself, we were talking, several friends, and we said, how do we overcome this? And he said, well, John, you have, and we really got into it. We were quoting facts. That's why, like I say, you have to do research before we make a lot of ridiculous claims. Make sure we know what we're talking about, have some type of information and background. Do you know that in the past 35 years, 323,000 blacks were killed by other blacks? The numbers are astronomical. They call us a laughing stock. Not me. I don't. They even equate it to, look at some of these so-called big gangster rappers who went to private schools, were dancers and singers. They got in the front of, like Dr. Boyce Watkins just said recently, that Dr. Dre and some of these songs got in the front of audiences largely white and calling everybody nigger this and nigger that. And these people were dancers, and they weren't thugs or hoods at all. Most of these people that plays these parts, most of them were not thugs at all. They were just out there for the money, and a lot of them didn't even write those raps that they were singing. But this, again, this is not about, I'm just tying this all in. Do you know African American women make up 13%? Or should I say black women and minority groups? But black women on the whole make up 37% of all abortions in the United States. Now that's horrific. They were showing in a documentary how they just sticking needles in the abdomen and just crushing the skull and then going in from it just pulling arms out and legs. It's something out of worse than a Frankenstein movie. Even Lee Frankenstein, as misguided as he was called himself, trying to create artificial life. This is just blood and guts. It's just telling you, just pull your underwears and panties down like a wild animal and just there are consequences behind that. They also said that a black African American woman, age 50, has a 4.7 times greater rate of getting breast cancer as any other woman or any other ethnic women that are other ethnic groups who have never had an abortion. And in some communities, in certain years, in a 2-year period, more black babies were aborted than were being born. Just like in New York, more black babies in just certain years, I'm not even going to call them, were being aborted than were being born. This is horrific. The slow, agonizing death of black America. Then we have all of these self-made reverends and all of these self-appointed civil rights leaders. Then you have the Congressional Black Caucus. Then you have the CBC PAC. They just sponge off the name Congressional Black Caucus because the Black Caucus was created by Shirley Chisholm, and I forgot the other name of the other gentleman, in 1971. The CBC PAC, Congressional Black Caucus PAC, that's an entirely different entity, was formed in, I think, 1994. They're just professional lobbyists. They're sponging off the name of the CBC. They make the fool people. Even Bill Clinton, when he really ripped in the Black Lives Matter the other night, and a speech he made afterwards said something about, in reference to the CBC PAC endorsement of Hillary Clinton. See, he wasn't exactly honest. He outright told a lie. But I will admit, now you have the 46th member of the Black Caucus, Congressional Caucus. 8 members of these people, of those, are in the CBC PAC, lobbyists, being paid by the same people that have and are still decimating black America. Big tobacco, big pharma, and believe it or not, one of the most people don't even believe it, private prison industry. Can you imagine that? How degrading. This is why a lot of people just don't, I'll put it this way, think that African Americans, that there's something wrong with African Americans. Some have said that we're the laughing stock of the world. Not we. Because I'm not voting. I'm going to tell you something. I'm not going to spend my money on anybody who's not building up our community. Let me tell you, the Jews and the Arabs, their money bounced in their communities at least 19 times. The Hispanic, your money has to bounce. The butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, they have to exhaust before it leaves out of your community. The Hispanics, their money bounced 7 times before it leaves the community. A black person, when they get paid, their money lasts in their community 7 hours. From the time he get it, from the time he leaves the job to get the check cashing place at a corner liquor store or wherever to cash it, then he's right out to the mall. They give it to Asians or Arabs. But of all the things, here we are voting for people who have traditionally did more damage deliberately to African Americans than the last 3 Republicans. Hillary Clinton was in 100% agreement with her husband on the crime bill, which later brought on the 3-strike law. Welfare reform, which actually just decimated the black community. That was the only way some single black females were able to feed their family. But we have to do something about, we have a short window of opportunity. We were the #1 minority group. We're in second place barely, and we're being surpassed by the Asian. We're being third place. Nobody cares. Nobody's paying you any attention. The more you march up and down, we have been free 150 years. We've been marching for 50. We have not improved 1 iota. We do not own any businesses. We are no better off. The only thing we have is what they call, Dr. Claude Anderson called, a social illusion. The only one who have money are somebody that's playing ball, going to a ball, or want somebody to think that they're having a ball. Or athlete or somebody. And most of these people do nothing for the black community. And I'll tell you, most of these athletes, these ball players, especially the football, they go broke anyway after short. Most of them. We are being buried under the immigrants. That's why all of your economy in your neighborhood are run by Asians and Arabs. That's appalling. I said, it has been said we have not progressed in over 150, we have not moved one iota in 150 years. Our greatest span of economic and educational growth between the latter part of the last century. In 1940, after World War II started, the great migration of blacks moved north in hopes of getting higher wages. And they were shocked that they did get, because there was a lot of people were out at the war, and so this was black people opportunity to go, and they grow from 1940, from the 1940s to the 1965 to 70. Economic change started to take place. Blacks were making better money. You know, in 1960, only 1 in 7 blacks were still on the farm of farming. Even only at least 25% of them had white collar jobs, and the rest had skilled jobs. Even the women were making much more money. Our greatest span of economic growth and educational was from the latter half of the 1940s up until 1970, and after then it just skyrocketed down. After these democratic laws with welfare and all these type of things, which demanded the man to be out of the house. And look at us today. We've marched 50 years, and we have actually regressed. We have gone backwards. We have not gained anything. Butchering old ladies, shooting down babies. We need God right now, or you're not going to last. You can't stand up against poverty like this. In some of our communities, poverty, as the African American, I think the Tuskegee University, their latest statistics showed in New Orleans, the African American community poverty rate was 80%. That means 80% of the people had actually zilch, nothing. Where do you think you're going to be when the economy falls? You know, they said the next man-made disaster or natural disaster or war, half of all blacks will be gone, will be dead. Why? Because you don't own a thing. We can't even unite. Some people say there's some kind of curse or something. You need God right now. At least back in the 60s, the mid 60s back, we had unity, and we kept God first. That's why we're making such. And this was this was right at the advent of signing the great Civil Rights Bill. All these advances were taking place. But after that, all these greedy, sneaky, underhanded, so-called self-appointed civil rights leaders, and some of these so-called church leaders, which most of them are not preaching the gospel according to Christ, and we just nose open, just follow anybody. I say we need God right now. We need to repent and ask God for direction and strength and move forward, or else we're going out of existence. A slow, painful, agonizing, economically, and every other kind of death. You rarely even see African Americans get married anymore. 73, I think it's 75% of all blacks are born into a single parent household. Look at Chicago, look at Detroit. Why do you think they're butchering and murdering each other? Drugs that you never owned. No male guidance or anything in the home. God help us. Even America itself is just sliding on out. America is an allegory. It's run by big business. America is a business. God help us. Pray, folks. We need our country prayed for, and we need, definitely our race need, black folks, we need prayer. We got to stop this. This is really ridiculous and horrifying. Butchering old ladies. You should see that little girl, half her eye socket blown out, and still alive, trying to smile. Even some of the worst real criminals I know even had to shake their tears came to their eyes, shooting down babies. That's why everybody will think most black people are just worthless. Why I can say that? I had my uncle said December 7th, 1941 at Pearl Harbor. I had another uncle was in the Battle of the South Pacific. We had another close relative got wounded in his back in Europe. Sniper fire. So I'll say any doggone thing I had from my own was over there fighting. Come on, black folks. We're dying too fast. We're going out of existence, and we don't own a thing. All that marching and all this foolishness was done after, especially after King died. All you had is just gone. God bless, folks. I just hope it's where God is. It's never too late, because right now God is the only one can do it. God help.